Welcome to Rope Dropping Knowledge, where we guide you through the magic of Disney.
$189. We're getting closer.
Hello, 11 more episodes.
So, yeah, we'll have some stuff to announce pretty soon. But let's start it off with our giveaway for March. We have a Daniel Nicole Mandalorian backpack. This particular giveaway ends on March 25th, Saturday, 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Must be 18 years or older and live in the United States. And the United States includes Puerto Rico, Hawaii, Alaska. So it doesn't have to be continental United States. All right. And all you have to do is direct message us the answer to this question. What Star Wars species of people would you live with for a year? So that could be Ewoks. It could be Wookiees. It could be Twi'leks. It could be Rhodians. Rhodians are like Greedo. Yeah. They were in the last. There was one in the last episode of Mandalorian. So, just give us your answer. Direct message us via Facebook, Instagram, or email us at info@ropedroppingknowledge.com. For every medium you use, you will get an additional entry, maximum of 3. Okay, and then for those of you who still want to enter our spoiler giveaway for Ant-Man Quantumania, that deadline is the 18th. So that will be, is that next week or the week after? I think that's...
next week.
Okay. Yeah. Next Saturday, 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you just have to listen to our Ant-Man Quantumania spoiler and get the question. Alrighty. A lot of business news, but of course it's raining. Because if it's raining, that means we're going to Disney. I think that's what happens.
Or if it's a heat wave, we're going to Disney.
Yeah, it's going to be extreme weather, it seems like. So, before we move into headlines, let's say that we do have a new in-park giveaway. I already posted it. The Grogu Loungefly wallet. It says, "Wait for me." The Grogu Wait for Me Loungefly wallet. You guys can see it on Instagram or Facebook. Pretty decent size wallet. It's a full size wallet. So if you see us at the parks, be the first to come and approach us, and you win that wallet.
Mm-hmm.
So Star Wars fans, it's a great prize. Loungefly fans, it's a great prize. If you're a Star Wars and a Loungefly fan, it's the ultimate prize.
Or if you just like backpacks, because it's really subtle.
What do you mean if you
Oh,
like
wait,
backpacks?
I'm talking about the backpack. You're talking about the wallet.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, that's the in-park giveaway. Maybe I didn't mention the backpack though this
Yeah.
time, huh? So maybe that's why. So yes, Mandalorian. So it's 2 Mandalorian giveaways for the actual big monthly prize. It's on the species question. Then it ends on the 25th. Is a Daniel Nicole. Oh, I thought I said
You
Daniel
said
Nicole.
Daniel Nicole. Yeah.
Mandalorian backpack. So, but you can see all our giveaways on our Instagram.
Yeah, we pinned it to the top.
Yeah. All our social media is usually the main we're just both not speaking very well. The main means of seeing what we're doing and what we're up to. Also, don't forget about podcast Mics for Magic. Go there to donate to CHOC, Children's Hospital of Orange County. Big stuff going on there. Going to have a big event leading up to the ending of Splash Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny and Hannah organizing that. So, and all the donations go directly to CHOC. No administrative fees, no Venmo, no middlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Your money doesn't touch any of the podcasters' hands. It goes straight to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure to check them out. And you can just go to see their link on Instagram, their page. Yeah. All right. A lot of business news. Disney-wise. There was the Morgan Stanley meeting.
Conference or something?
I don't know. There's
Some technology conference or whatever.
Well, I think it's Morgan Stanley's all business. It's all finance, and Iger was there.
Oh.
So it's not really an earnings call, but usually at these other events that are put on by major investment firms,
Mhm.
sometimes you get more information than you actually get in the earnings calls because the earnings calls have a mission, is to make sure people are getting the correct information. And it's also, I think that there's actually penalties, like if you lie at an earnings call, because
Oh,
that's an
really?
official thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
because
it's,
yeah.
the SEC will probably look at it and be like, you can't be giving out false information at these things, so. But this is really cool because these things, and Morgan Stanley has them. What is it? Goldman Sachs has them. Like all the big firms,
Mm.
and you'll see like our beloved leaders, corporate leaders, come and do speaking events at them. And Iger was at the Morgan Stanley one this week, and so there's some cool stuff up there, And South by Southwest was this week too, and that's a music show, media, entertainment. So you just get to see kind of like cool stuff.
Yeah,
kind of
Josh Damaro was there.
Yeah. And so we'll talk about those things too. But what do we got first?
We got Iger at this conference, Morgan Stanley conference, admitting that the Disney parks got too expensive.
Yeah.
And he said he's always believed that Disney was a brand that needed to be accessible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess, a lot of people probably glad to hear him admit that. But, he's the kind of guy that'll just admit, because he doesn't think, he doesn't have the ego to say, hey, well, first of all, a lot of the price hikes weren't under him anyway. So I guess that makes it easier. So,
He was under Chapek, good old Chapek.
So it's hard. It's a hard balance, and I'm not saying that Chapek did stuff right. I think that Chapek was almost too honest in a way, because the whole unfavorable thing, even though that's not exactly what he said, he was talking about favorable guests. Of course,
He says unfavorable mixture.
Or something like that.
Crowds or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. But I mean, everyone could read between the lines, and the thing is that's honestly the truth for any company. There's people you want, to target as far as your products and services, and there's people that you less likely want, and that's the truth. Now, Iger, I think, is more of a visionary type person, to where he thinks, we need to figure it out to where everyone can get it, or at least the most people possible.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he's being dishonest, I just saying that Chapek was somebody who was bought there. And again, I'm not saying we should have sympathy for Chapek. He's probably worth $50 million, if you add up all the money he's gotten over the years, plus his stock and all that. But I would say that from just a note of understanding, he was bought there because he was a moneymaker. And the reason he's not there is not because, and I think people get it twisted, it's not because guests and fans didn't like him. It's because they found out he really wasn't making money. if he was actually making the money he promised to make when he got hired, he would still be there. So let's not get it twisted. All right. Everybody's like, no, it's my tweet that got him fired. No, it's not. Trust me. It's not how business works. Now, I will say this, and I've said this to, again, this is more HR talk. If you can't produce, you better be nice. You better have people like you. You better spend your time on politicking and getting a lot of support from those above you, and most importantly, those below you, because those are the people who are going to back you when things get hard. And that also goes for guests, your customers, and that would also include, former annual pass holders, current Magic Key holders. Those are the people, and I've always said this, that are going to get you through the lean times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you are not producing and you piss everyone off,
yeah,
that's not a good combo. So always be a good guy. always, raise your profile. Always walk the, in this, whether it's Disney or not, always walk the parks, I should say. Management by walking around, see how people are doing, check in on them, care about their families. If somebody needs a leave of absence, give it to them, if it's reasonable, right? To do these type of things, because then you're not going to have 20, 30 million people rooting for your demise because that's what ended up happening.
Yeah.
And so the day that you don't produce, you're going to be gone with a
you're
quickness.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say that for any job, whether you are the CEO of Disney or you are the shift supervisor at Target.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my advice. All right. But I do think that Iger has a point in the sense that and this is kind of aligning with everything we've always said on this podcast. You want the parks to be accessible.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to cater to
Just
the
to
people who are
Yeah.
making $500,000 a year more and up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even $200,000 a year and more and up. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
kind of like even $100,000 a year and more and up.
Yeah, you just want to be accessible to everybody.
And why is that? Because Disney's biggest asset is brand loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing you have. It's not Star Wars. It's not Peter Pan. It's not, Pixar. It's like these things are great to have, right? These things can get you new customers, and people will long for the old stuff that these franchises created, Marvel included. But you want people to be able to come to the parks because of nostalgia. And that nostalgia, I'm not saying, I saw Iron Man when it first came out. I'm not talking about that type of nostalgia. I'm talking about the nostalgia they had with their parents
Yeah.
when they came. The nostalgia, when you bought your kid was first old enough to go out in public.
Yeah.
You have because some people, we see people bringing kids that are like 6 months old, right, to the park. To me, I'm like, dang, that's a hassle. I don't know if I could do that, but they do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that feeling the parents get, and then the first time your kid recognizes the stuff and the stuff that they've seen on TV and in the movies and the magic through their eyes, that's what's going to get you long-term growth. Because they're going to bring their kids. They're going to want to have their birthday parties there. They're going to want to have their quinceañeras there, their weddings there.
Mm-hmm.
DeSantis got married at Disney World. Everybody
Yeah.
loves Disney. So you want to make it as accessible as possible, because if you make the parks just one big Club 33,
Yeah.
those people aren't loyal.
Right.
those people aren't loyal to
They're just
you.
there to be seen.
No, they're not even being seen. It's to try it. It's like I might go to an expensive sushi place once,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that I'm.
Doesn't mean you're a fan, a loyal fan. That
No. So you want people who are going there because they made a lot of their life memories there.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you got to have as many quote unquote normal people, people with regular jobs who can afford to go there. And if you exclude them, they're going to choose other things because, despite what people think, Disney does have competition. It's just not other theme parks, but they have other things. I mean, there's again, football, basketball. If you live in a big city, there's
Traveling.
Yeah, people who could go to Disney, they can go to a trip to the Grand Canyon. There's people who go to the Grand Canyon because their parents took them to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a bratty kid who didn't care about the Grand Canyon, but if we end up having a kid, I'd probably take them to the Grand Canyon because that's what I was took to.
When I was a kid, we were always so close to the Grand Canyon, right? Because we always go to Vegas
Mm-hmm.
a few times a year. But I've never been to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
I don't think. Have I?
You told me stories about you were always too young to actually go to Vegas because back then they didn't have anything for kids
Yeah.
when you were a kid.
Yeah.
So you and your cousin were always in a hotel room by yourselves or at a
Or
snack
at
bar.
a snack bar.
But then when you became an adult, you started doing Vegas every year because you remember it.
Yeah.
it grabs you.
Different, but yes.
It's different, but it's like it's just a pattern that just happens. It becomes habitual.
Yeah.
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 And they got you when you were a kid, even though you couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
You just I remember that my family was happy when we were at Vegas, even though I personally wasn't.
Yeah. When I turned 21, I was like, whatever. I was like over it.
Yeah.
Because when I turned 21, all of a sudden there's all these kid things to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, what the heck? It wasn't there when I was a kid.
I guess it was Circus when you were a kid. I don't remember.
Yeah, that
when
was the
Circus
only
Circus.
thing.
Yeah.
But my family doesn't want to go there to gamble.
Yeah.
If they make a trip to Circus, it'll be just for me.
There you go. So like 1 out of the 5 days you get to go.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know how you can spend more than 2 days in Vegas, but
I know.
some people can. All right. But yeah, so park accessibility is important. And I'm glad he's admitting that. And I don't know what kind of changes he can actually make. I think, again, remember when I talked about, not all job cuts are layoffs.
Yeah.
Some
are like
through attrition.
Yeah.
I think maybe what they could do is just not increase as fast.
Mm-hmm.
Because, there's increases every
Well,
year.
I think they did it to reduce crowds or control crowds. But if they have the reservation system now, I think that's a good way to control.
And I honestly
crowds.
don't think Iger minds crowds as much as Chapek did. See, I think Chapek was trying to make it more of a resort. He had more of a resort minded to where if we're targeting rich people and rich people don't like standing in lines, rich people don't like rubbing shoulders with the rabble. So let's make let's just charge a big fee. And again, this is the business, theory of cost leadership versus product differentiation.
Yeah.
Every business student knows these things, but cost leadership, and I always give the example of Walmart. We're going to be the biggest by selling the cheapest.
Yes.
So if you go into Walmart, especially like on a Black Friday, it's going to be crowded, but it's going to be but you could get socks for $2. You know what I mean?
Or a TV for $100.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And then on a normal day, it's like everything's cheaper.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to be an Amazon Prime member to get something cheap. You know what I mean? You can just go there. If you're willing to actually take your minivan to the store, you can stack it up with all kinds of stuff and not, pay an arm and a leg.
Or like Kaiser, right? That's the health
Kaiser-
care equivalent.
Kaiser kind of, they have vertical integration, which makes them cheap. But yes, they get a lot of contracts because companies don't have to pay them as much. What you're sacrificing is the differentiation. So and that's the other theory. So if you have diabetes, you're going to get metformin. Why? Because that's how we keep our costs down, because we brought $10 billion in metformin.
Yeah.
So everybody's getting metformin.
Right.
If you have diabetes and metformin's not working for you, I think that the legal name is glucophage. That's the original brand name.
Oh.
Metformin is actually the generic name.
Oh.
But we have HR. We have I see all these things coming in every day and stuff. But then if you need something else, if you need Ozempic, which all these stars are using to lose weight and everything, we're going to have to refer you to a specialist. And then that specialist might deny you. They're going to make
there
it. They're going
isn't
to
a
make
specialist within Kaiser Network.
there
or whatever?
is, but they're going to say before we're not like your normal doctor's not just going to give you Ozempic. You see what I mean? They're going to make you jump through so many hoops to where you either give up, or by the time you get it, it's like, okay, you're going to be that we've reduced the people who want Ozempic down to 10% of the people who actually initially wanted it, to where they don't have to pay a lot for it.
Yeah.
If you have an injury, okay, we're going to have to. Well, can you walk? Yeah, my knee's blown out. I can't walk. Can you walk a little bit? It's like
Okay, extra strength Tylenol over the counter for you. Just kidding.
Now that Walmart, Kaiser, cost leadership strategy.
Yeah.
Right. Chapek, is
other-
product differentiation. So this thing, Iger, cost leadership. Well, if you're in the resort theme park business, you're never really into cost leadership. But for that industry, cost leadership. Right. And then product differentiation, think of Apple, BMW, you get what you pay for. We don't care if our stores are packed. And sometimes the Apple stores are packed.
Yeah.
But your phone costs this. No, there's no coupons ever.
Right. No discounts ever.
No. It's basically, you're going to pay Porsche. You want a Porsche. I'm not saying you can't negotiate on a Porsche, but you're not getting a Porsche for $30,000. And $30,000 is a nice car. So it's you're paying for the brand.
Yeah.
you're paying and you're justifying in your head that this is worth
Yeah.
it, even if it's not worth it.
Yeah,
after you bought it, you're gonna tell your
and
friends
you hear that,
how much is worth it.
and
you know?
I hear that from people, right? When I
Mhm.
go to, these BTS event, like one
Mhm.
of the armies,
Yeah. Mhm.
had said, "Yeah, I love Disney. I have a magic key."
Mhm.
And then they said, "Oh, last week we went to check out the Mario World or whatever it's
Mhm.
called, and even though we got an annual pass because it cost like maybe $150 for an
Mhm.
annual pass over there,
Yeah.
and he's like, it's worth $150. Disneyland is worth like $1,500 or whatever the magic key is.
Right.
He's like, trust me,
There's a difference.
you're getting
You get what you pay for.
You're getting what you pay for.
Right. And so, and even BTS fans, I mean, we know people, what, $1,500 tickets?
Yeah.
For
Oh
the-
yeah, to a concert ticket. That's
Yeah.
just for a BTS member, solo member.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
BTS comes back, it's gonna be around $2,500 for nosebleed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's
They get it, I guess.
yeah, that's product differentiation,
Yeah.
but you have to make that product special.
Yeah.
Via whether it be marketing and making people believe it's special, or whether it be actually special, it's got to be one of the two.
Yeah.
And Disney has both, right? I think there is no rise to resistance anywhere else. When you walk into the park, the smells, the music,
Yeah.
the way
The
they have
nostalgia
everything
that you grew up,
coordinated,
like you said, with your parents.
Yeah, it's worth it. Now, it's that's those are the two economic philosophies, marketing philosophies. You should probably is more into marketing that are competing here. And Iger doesn't mind crowded parks. He thinks that Disney is a strong enough brand to where people will put up with crowds. And I think that, and if you put up with crowds, we don't have to raise the prices because now you're getting more people. So if you have more customers in the park, you don't have to charge exorbitant prices.
Mhm.
And actually, you can't, right? If you're shoulder to shoulder on Main Street, you're not going to pay $300 a ticket.
No.
You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen.
Well, that's why he's opening up more days, more
Mhm.
different tiers, things like that.
Right.
And his whole thing is, Disney needs to be accessible.
Right. And if it's accessible, you're not going to see these big slumps in the stock because not everybody's family can afford to go on every single day.
Right.
So you can't just prioritize the holidays. The holidays are always going to be important.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can average, so I don't know how many, there's always debate on how many people the parks hold. But let's say Disneyland at its absolute limit can hold 70,000. I'm always changing these numbers because I honestly don't know how much it can
Yeah.
hold.
I was going to say 80, but
Let's say
70 is good.
There's 70,000 people. And you get an average, and that's maximum before the fire department cuts off the line.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And if you can average on a weekday like 50,000,
Mm-hmm.
that's good. But that's under cost leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Chapek was like, we could do it for like 20 to 30,000 a day and just charge them more.
Mm.
And it's like, I'm not saying that's wrong necessarily, but for the type of company Disney is, that's built on 100 years of brand, right? And it's their 100th year anniversary, not Disneyland, but Disney
Mhm.
company. Why would you waste? And this is why I'm agreeing with Iger. Why would you waste 100 years of branding and throw that away for some people who have no loyalty at all?
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make sense. So that's, I think, what he's really getting at. Open the gates, let them in. Don't make them, go bankrupt, to ride the teacups. And
Yeah.
yeah.
That makes sense because instead of raising prices, because remember a couple of weeks ago we said that their CFO in the earnings call said that they're gonna try to cut cost other ways
Yeah.
rather than raising prices.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Okay. So the second thing Iger talked about was there you go, reduce costs on films, TV shows to focus on quality and not volume.
So, and then he went on to say, Disney being very careful with Star Wars movie development, says Marvel brand not inherently off. Like he's basically saying it's not that the quality's gone down. He says, but do you need a third or fourth sequel for every character?
Yes. No.
No.
You need 3 Doctor Stranges, 3 Ant-Man.
Well,
Ant-Man. 3 Ant-Man movies.
I see his point though, right? So this is again, that's what burns people out because we got to Thor: Love and Thunder, and again, we still haven't reviewed it, and it's not because I hated the movie, but it was not
Okay, maybe
the
not
strongest.
the 4th.
It wasn't the strongest of the movie.
Yeah. We don't need the 4th. We may need 2 or 3, but not 4.
But I think what he's understanding, and this kind of goes back to this is not really the cost leadership, but it goes back to groups. Iger believes in groups. He believes in lots of groups of customers, guests, and he believes from the superhero genre, from the Marvel franchise, in groups. Ensemble films. Civil War is still one of the best Marvel films ever.
Oh, he wants like
That was a Captain America film in title.
collaborator.
Yeah, why do you need to do a sequel? I could pay
Yeah, we like the crossovers. Crossovers.
That's what people are looking for, right? And you don't need to do a solo Thor.
Spider-Man was cool because it had crossovers.
But it's had crossovers.
Yeah,
They even crossed
it
over
had
with other
crossovers.
Spider-Man.
It
was
yeah,
great.
Doctor Strange didn't, but it introduced new. Well, kind of X-Men.
Kind of,
Ish.
yeah, X-Men is, and that's probably why it did as well as it did because the marketing team looked at Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and they say, okay, this is what's in it. What they threw it in there. They threw Professor X right into the promo because they knew, because somebody like an artist wouldn't want that out in a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
An artist would be like, no, I want them to be surprised when they see this, right? The creators.
Yeah.
The marketing team is like, no, we need people to come their first day.
to come the first day because like, oh my gosh, the X-Men's coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because you think the first few trailers, because you figure the first trailer was right after Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yeah.
And it was like the after credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Doctor Strange and Wanda talking. Remember,
Yeah.
a lot of people forget.
Crossover. Wanda was there.
Yeah, but there was no X-Men stuff.
Yeah.
And then they did a couple other trailers, no X-Men stuff. The marketing team was like, look, this movie probably ain't going to do that great. It's not going to do as great as we want for an MCU movie, especially the amount of money they spend on MCU movies. So if you want people to show up on the first day, you got to let us tease them with some candy. All right? And that's what they did. Again, you don't
they
need
another Civil War. You know,
I mean,
more
even Ant-Man,
crossovers.
If Ant-Man, Quantumania, if they didn't introduce Kang, is a huge flop.
Yeah.
I don't know how good it's doing now. I haven't looked lately, but it's definitely. I guarantee you, it probably fell off. The average fall off from the first week to second week is 60%.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested. We'll report on it later. We'll see what it did. I like the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't need to see another Ant-Man.
No.
I mean, he's a good character, but
we can see him again in another
Exactly.
Avenger or whatever.
Anything.
Yeah.
You could put him in any movie. He's Ant-Man. He's walking around. He's not like a guy who's hard to find, except when he's little. But you can find him. You could put him in a Spider-Man movie. You could put him in the Daredevil TV show. You could put him in anything.
Anywhere.
And it's going to be and he's going to be the same guy. Scott Lang's funny, and you could even do like a Christmas special with him, just like they did with Guardians of the Galaxy. You don't need to keep making a big blockbuster movie with him.
Yeah.
And I think even Paul Rudd would admit that.
Yeah, like it's enough. Yeah, they need more of the crossovers, like a Civil War type thing, or another mini Avenger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's also a good way to. This is pro wrestling understands this, and I know a lot of people will be like, pro wrestling. Every time you want to introduce a new character, you give them the bump with a popular old character. Like the Undertaker, introduce this person. Stone Cold would introduce this person, and they'd have a stare off. They might not even fight. Mm-hmm. They just get in each other's face or something. It's like that's what you call a bump, right? When The Rock first got to the WWF, back when they called it the WWF, now it's the WWE, he was what they call a face. He was a baby face. This kid comes from baby face. He was a good guy. He was a just nice guy. He wasn't arrogant at all. It wasn't no Rock was this, Rock that. He was just kind of like, his name was Rocky Maivia. That was his name. And he was just like this island boy who was just really good, because he's kind of good looking. He's a good looking guy. He had chubby cheeks. He was just, he wasn't super ripped. He's actually more ripped now than he was when he first started wrestling. And because he played for the Miami Hurricanes. He's a University of Miami guy. And he's a football player, and his father was in the wrestling business. His father was Rocky Johnson. And so it was very, it wasn't until he got that bump and turned heel that he got really popular, but it took other wrestlers to help make him that way. He was with the Nation of Domination, which was basically like a Black Power movement. This is when they were wild. Back in the 90s, it was wild, man. They had all kinds of crazy stuff, but it was kind of like this, and they had like basically a race for WWE until McMahon got told that he needed to start, because there was like this, the white guys were like these biker gang guys, and then they had like Las Vegas with like Puerto Rican, it was like prison gang fights, and then The Rock ended up being the head of the black ones, but then you saw how his star power and his abilities just outshone everybody. So they used all that to bump him. That ensemble stuff bumped him to the next level. You can do that.
So then they have characters coming back.
Yeah. So you have, and then you see who's the superstars out of these things.
Yeah.
And Vince McMahon, love him or hate him, understood that, and I think that Iger understands that. And so I
understand that, because every time we're in the
Civil
movie
War.
theater, we watch a movie and we see a character from a different movie come. It's all like, whoa, like it's like that. It's like, of course you.
And if you want to introduce new characters, like they're doing it, like Miss Marvel was probably the most successful, like just solo new character without any crossover.
She-Hulk? Yeah. Oh, without any crossover.
Without any crossover.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, new character. She's probably the most successful. Moon Knight, from an artistic television standpoint, was great in my opinion, but I don't think a lot of people liked it because
it was different,
and it had nothing to do with the MCU in general. It's like, well, who's this god, and what does he have to do with the snap? And then
when you watch Thor: Love and Thunder, it connects. All the gods.
Yeah, those aren't established characters.
I don't know.
Those aren't characters.
Oh, I see.
No,
yes.
there's nobody that you saw. If you weren't in Endgame, I don't care. That's what the public is thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard to do that, and you could save money by doing that. And I think that's what Iger is talking about with cost. Like, why are you having a Thor 4 that doesn't introduce anybody? You're not introducing anybody. Yeah, he has a kid. Okay, great.
Well, Mighty Thor. It introduced Mighty Thor.
What?
The Lady Thor.
She's died.
I know, but it's. Oh, you're saying introduce for future.
Yeah, to get an ROI.
Yeah, they just introduced love.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Nobody knew. The Hercules guy.
Maybe if they use him, I don't know what he's in. You know what I mean?
But even at the end of that, they're like, whoa! But whoa!
Yeah, and he was an after credit thing.
Yeah.
The entire movie he was in it. If he was chasing Thor throughout the movie, yeah. The best thing about Thor: Love and Thunder was Hercules at the end for 5 seconds.
That's like the best thing at the end of Eternals.
And the and Gore the God Butcher who died. Like those are the two things.
Yeah.
If we got to see them again.
Yeah.
If you're saying, if this was setting up something, if you saw Hercules and Gore the God Butcher saying that,
will return in like what they did with Thanos.
But not even, if they say, I don't know about these gods, but I heard about this guy Kang, this human who dares to, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. You sold me. Now I'm watching the next thing, right? Miss Marvel is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Miss Marvel, not a lot of people liked it. Captain Marvel. Sorry.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Yes, Captain Marvel.
The movie.
The
But that one, Avengers thing right before Infinity War, or no, right before Endgame, I should say.
Yes.
Is why people went to see it.
The end credit. Yeah.
People went to see that movie just for the Avengers in the end credits.
Yes. Which is why Ant-Man is the one thing that saved it was, like you said, Kang, and then the end where it's Kang again
Yeah.
to introduce Loki or
Yeah.
whatever.
That's how you need to do it, and they could do it more. You don't need to do like these. I don't care what Thor's doing,
Yeah.
with his kid. I mean, I do, but do you need to make a $300
whole
million
movie.
movie about that?
Yeah.
No,
that's like the
he doesn't
fourth
even get the
Thor.
kid to the end. So
Yeah, and it's like the fourth Thor, right? It's not even
it's the fourth.
3, so you
Mhm.
don't need to make more than 3. I think 3 is enough.
we need more Captain America Civil Wars.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we need an Avengers movie every year. We
Yeah.
don't, but we
Just
need
need a
kind of like a
mini-
mini Avengers either.
Yeah.
And then you can put new people in it.
Yeah.
And have them bump, and then I'll watch them on Disney Plus. Because if Moon Knight was introduced during another movie,
Mhm.
like let's say he was introduced to Multiverse of Madness, or I don't know if that came out before or after Multiverse of Madness, I can't remember. But let's just say he was introduced, even if is a minor character,
Mhm.
and then they come out with Moon Knight, that gets big bump.
Mhm.
It gets a big bump, So again, he's saying let's focus on quality and not quantity,
Mhm.
which is so he's in a way he's kind of taking the product differentiation approach in movies,
Mhm.
in entertainment, and the cost leadership approach when it comes to the parks.
Mhm.
So, what's next? What else do you say?
I think you're bullish on Disney Plus and streaming.
Yeah,
What's bullish?
bullish is like it's good. It's like it's going to get better. It's going to grow.
Oh.
It's like when you say I'm bullish, you mean it's like when a stock guy on TV says I'm bullish on this, it means buy now.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I thought it
Like
meant
the big-
like BS. But I'm like, wait, I wouldn't
sometimes,
say that.
sometimes it is. Sometimes
like
it is.
bull.
Yeah. It's like Kramer before the housing market collapse. He was bullish. But the Morgan Stanley is the firm in New York with the big bowl in front. That's why they had that giant bowl.
Oh.
So he's probably doing like a double entendre type of thing. It's just like, okay, But yes, and I think what he basically means is streaming's the way. I think he has a little quote in here. I'm generally bullish on streaming as a great consumer proposition, as a really robust platform to deliver high quality content. Everything I think, eventually I think everything will migrate to streaming, and he says including ESPN as a direct to consumer offering. So ESPN's probably in the future is not even going to be on like cable. It's just going to be ESPN Plus, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's pretty much common sense. Everything's getting more digital. Everything is going to go to a streaming platform. And I think that right now people are just, and when I say people, I mean companies are just fighting to be who's the biggest in the space, in the streaming space. You're going to see a lot of companies merge. And I don't know if, unfortunately, there's probably, like in 20 years, there's probably going to be only like 3 streaming things. But there could be something that's totally new, even beyond streaming. So I don't know. I don't know if VR is going to be the thing. I don't know if it's going to be something that's no one's ever thought of. But as of current content, it's all moving to streaming. If you watch YouTube, that's streaming.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't think of YouTube as streaming, but that's streaming.
We don't even know. Well, I don't know how to turn on the TV anymore.
We have a cable box, and I'm still paying for basic cable because it came with my internet pack. Because we got the highest.
Yeah.
Because we both work from home, I had to get the fiber optic internet. So because we have 4 monitors always going, and we're constantly looking at documents and all this stuff, and we're both like on Teams meetings at the same time, Zoom meetings at the same time. So we need really fast internet, and
but we never used the TV.
But the TV comes with that because we got the highest, and we never use it. I watched the Super Bowl in the bedroom on our bedroom TV because I forgot how to turn on this one.
Like every time it's New Year's Eve, those Rockin' Eve, whatever. I was like, oh, I don't know how to turn it on.
How do we do that?
We like
usually we're at a hotel, I think, sometimes. So
well, the one time that we were at home, we just watched some YouTubers doing the countdown because we didn't know how to figure it. Well, not that we did, but we were too lazy to figure it out.
Yeah.
We basically pulled the plug.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he's right. Everything's going to move towards streaming. I think even though Disney Plus, all streaming numbers are down right now, but I think they're going to have to figure out a price thing. I think that there's some opportunities for synergies for some functional threading to where you can. They're already doing the bundle with like the Disney Plus, the
Yeah.
ESPN, and the
then
Hulu.
They have the lower price with the ads
tier.
now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But they could even do other things. I mean, if some like so, for example, I think you can serve favorables and unfavorables. If somebody buys a Disney Vacation, joins the Disney Vacation Club, I'd give them 3 years of Disney Plus
Yeah.
because that's less than $300. I think it's $70 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's like a $210.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody joins Disney Vacation Club, give them free Disney Plus for 3 years. It doesn't cost you anything because that's going to be included in the cost of the Disney Vacation. You can do things like that make your high priced items look more tantalizing,
Mm-hmm.
and because that's all credit card companies do.
Mm-hmm.
Credit card companies really don't have products.
Mm-hmm.
All they're doing is saying, we'll give you money that we're going to charge you for later.
Yeah.
That's
like
all
you
credit
said, they
companies.
offered you all this Universal Studio stuff.
Yeah, but I've looked on and this has been in like since it's been raining a lot and we haven't done a lot, when I'm on YouTube, I found out that there's like hundreds of just people making a living just doing credit card channels.
Really?
All they're doing is talking about credit cards.
What?
Like, this is how you get the best. I mean, it's usually catered to like college kids. Like, this is how your credit score. It's actually some helpful advice that if you have kids in college, it's kind of good advice about this is what matters on your credit score.
Oh,
These are
these
are different points you can get.
Yeah, I wish I knew
If
that
you like
when I was in
traveling,
college.
yeah, no one taught me that,
Yeah.
so I was just like, it's Discover, okay, But I mean, there's so many of them. You would think that there'd be one person with a credit card channel,
Yeah.
if any.
There is one one Instagram page.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Disney Points Gal.
Yeah.
And I just saw she was like, oh, join Marriott Bonvoy and because points and this and that. So
Yeah, we're sitting here giving away this information for free like suckers.
well, no, she is
I'm
giving it away for
joking.
free too. But
I
I was
know,
like,
I'm just
oh
joking.
yeah, that's what we said.
She probably got a
So-
brand deal though.
Maybe.
But yeah, they can do. Disney is in so many different areas.
Mhm.
They have these opportunities to use, like, okay, because again, we want to hook people,
Mhm.
right? If you're a business, you want to hook people in, and if you're putting out good products, if you're concentrating on, and see, this is where Iger is really smart. He's concentrating on quality. So maybe She-Hulk. I like She-Hulk. Not everyone liked it. Most people like Miss Marvel.
Mhm.
Almost everyone liked WandaVision, and
Yeah.
then a lot of people like Loki. Everyone likes The Mandalorian.
Yes.
So if you just have, say, like, we're not going to do that many shows, but we're going to have a WandaVision, a Loki, and a Mandalorian every year,
Yeah.
people will stay with you. Just
Yeah.
spread it throughout the year.
Yeah.
And then have some specials and some, your BTS thing and your this and your that, you sprinkled in between. Offer it with the Disney Vacation Club,
Mhm.
Offer it to Magic Key holders,
Mhm.
You're going to get people hooked on your platform. And then in 20 years, maybe there's only 3 people in the game and you're one of the 3.
Yeah.
And you might be the leader.
Yeah.
So,
And that's why WandaVision was so successful because it's a bunch of crossover. There's Agent Wu from Ant-Man. There's Kat Dennings. I always
Yeah.
forget her character name from Thor. And then there's Monica Rambeau.
well, I think it was just good. I don't think
Yeah.
the crossovers,
But
those
that's
crossovers,
like the bonus, where
it was
it's
a
like, oh,
bonus,
it's characters
but
from
they
other
weren't big
places.
characters. They're not A-list characters.
Yeah,
you
but they're from other places
Yeah.
within the MCU. And stuff.
But I think they just liked it because it was weird Twilight Zone type of like what's going on.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
It was just a really well written, done show.
Yeah.
That show actually survived on its quality,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird because it went up every week. It started this first week, it wasn't big,
Mm-hmm.
and then through word of mouth it grew, which is not likely. It's a great thing to have, but it's rare.
Yeah.
Usually things
It's-
start big and they taper down, and you hope they taper down to enough where it's still good.
Yeah. It's also the MCU's first TV show.
Yeah, but it
So-
didn't. The first episode didn't do as good as the last few.
The last
episodes.
few, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
All right.
All right. So, are we done with Morgan Stanley
Yeah.
conference?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're on to other breaking news that Bruce Vaughn is returning to as the Imagineering Chief Creative Officer effective March 20th. He left. He was an Imagineer leader back in the day, and he left in 2016. So now he's returning, and he and Barbara Bauza, she's the current president of Walt Disney Imagineering.
Bowser.
Bauza, and they'll both be restructuring the Walt Disney Imagineering department,
Yeah.
which means layoffs.
Well, I don't know if it necessarily means layoffs. It could mean just quality control.
Yeah, the
too.
quality. So they're like we've always said when Iger came back, right? He wants to focus on letting the creatives lead the company.
Yeah.
So that's why Bruce Vaughn was brought back.
And I don't know if you bring back a head of Imagineering for layoffs. You know what I mean? You don't need.
Yeah, when I hear the word restructure, reorg,
yeah, and
it's always
usually in
like
corporations that does mean
Yeah,
cutting of some sort.
yeah.
But I don't think that has to do with this guy.
Yeah.
You know.
No, they're going to restructure in the sense that
Mhm.
focus more making Imagineers be leaders instead of
And I don't know if we put like the South by Southwest stuff in here,
no.
because that kind of leads into the kind of weird stuff that they showed. The
robot?
We have a poll up right now.
Yeah.
Is that the new robot kid creepy
Yeah.
or scary?
Or cool? Well,
Creepy
I
or
didn't
cool,
know
yeah.
that you didn't see my post before that where I said, "Oh, cool," and I showed the robot.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you posted was, "Is this cool or scary?" But you didn't even see my post where I already said it was cool.
People could disagree with you, Tracy.
I know
It's a free country.
that will soon be ruled by robots. I am legend.
But then what about the Tinkerbell?
Yeah, that's creepy
See, why would that be creepy? That's cool.
because it's a human like shrinking and weird.
Tinkerbell's all magic.
Yeah, on TV, but not in real life.
No.
If I saw a little person like Ant-Man in real life, I'd freak out.
Not if it was Paul Rudd.
Like I wouldn't step on it. Like I freak out when I see mice or rats,
Mhm.
but because I can't step on it and kill it because it's too big to step on.
You're
Like
so-
I'm not scared of spiders, cockroaches, whatever, because those things I can just squash.
you're
But
so
I feel
weird.
weird squashing something a little bit bigger.
I'm gonna get you a pet tarantula. They're cool.
Ugh. But no, robot's fine. Shrunken human, not cool.
I think that when you look at it in the context of rides and attractions, it's going to be cool.
Oh, that's fine. But this one, like, she was like close, right? Like on a
But they were
table or something,
demonstrating.
and
Yeah,
you're looking at her, and you're like,
yeah.
"Mm."
I don't know if they're just going to have it out because people would touch it. and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be part of an attraction
Well,
or
like
part of an exhibit.
the Walt hologram thing. Like,
Mhm.
that's creepy.
Yeah, but you like robots, so
Robot, not creepy.
well, Tinkerbell's a robot.
Holograms, creepy. Remember when Kanye bought Kim a hologram of her father?
No.
And that was creepy. That was his birthday gift to her. Here's your father saying how great of a son-in-law you have, or he has. You know, like he's dead, but here he is saying I'm so great. Like, that's a Kanye thing to do, but that was creepy.
Not as creepy as her husband.
Yeah, not creepy
I
as
think
him.
that was more creepy.
Yeah.
You can't marry into the Addams family and say, "Oh, you got me a creepy gift."
It's funny because there's Robert Kardashian going, I have such a great son-in-law, like kind of like that, and it's like happy
hilarious.
birthday. But yeah. Okay. So other news is there's rumors that not rumors, it's actually on the NBA website that NBA Commissioner Adam Silver is in the mix to be the next Disney CEO.
Yeah.
Just in the mix, with the other
Yeah.
people.
I mean, I mean, my whole thought on that was, why would he take that job?
Yeah.
The
He
NBA
has such a
commissioner is
cushy
so
gig
chill.
right now.
Commissioners for our big sports franchises, they don't make decisions. They basically, because all these teams are privately owned.
But don't they get heat like when it's something controversial?
That's
like
their
that
job.
Whole Colin Kaepernick
You get
thing?
heat, but you don't. But it's not your fault. You didn't do anything.
Mm.
You didn't. You're not sitting up at night saying, "Oh, how do I balance this budget?" or "How can I do this?" It's like, no. The owners tell you what to do,
Yeah, yeah.
and you're just there to be the figurehead to make a speech. Like, yes, we're not going. It's not a collusion to exclude Kaepernick, or yes, we're going to take a stand on this, or no, we're not going to. It's like he's a mouthpiece. He's a mouthpiece that gets paid tens of millions of dollars to do nothing. He's kind of like the guy that's like in Russian politics, like the way the way it used to be structured was, I think it was 4 years. Putin would have to step down, and there was this other guy who was kind of like Putin's little buddy who would step in and be president, prime minister for like 4 years, but he'd basically just be doing what Putin told him to do. Even though Putin was out of office, because the Constitution said you can't be consecutively in office for that long. And then Putin would come back. And then that's how they structured it. That's all he is. He has all his, people, all his owners, they tell him what to do. And now he's going to go to a place where he has to make actual decisions.
And get heat.
And he might get paid less.
Yeah.
I don't know if Disney's going to pay him as much as he's paying him. So, I don't know, man. I don't know if I would take that gig.
He'd probably be like, no, thanks. I'm happy here.
If you've ever been... It's almost like if you've ever had like, and I've seen it so many times, especially being in HR, people who've had really cushy jobs, and they're like, I need to challenge myself. And then they go and they take this. They had like this kind of cushy job where nobody was checking in on them, and they're just doing whatever. They're doing a good job. They're providing a service or whatever, but they're just like, I just feel that my friends are so more active, and I just feel that I need to challenge myself. And they go in there and they get this other job, and they get their first performance review is horrible, because it's like not exercising for 5 years and then trying to run a freaking triathlon. Yep. It's like it's not good.
Yeah, I did that in law school. I made the mistake. I had an in-house position that was cushy. I was like, I think I need to work for a law firm, because everybody else is doing it. Every lawyer's doing it. So I went out, worked for a law firm, and oh my goodness, it lasted 2 months. I'm like, take me back.
Because that's real work.
Corpo jobs are cushy jobs if you're in the law or lawyer business.
Law firms, and I tell everybody, same thing with therapists. If you can be a therapist or a counselor, consulting or working for either consulting for the private sector or working for a public sector as like a policy person.
Yeah.
That's good. And then they said, well, I don't know. I got my degree to practice. I think I'm going to go back in practice,
challenged.
Which in California is usually fee for service. And so you see all these therapists and stuff, they go back into practice, and it's like, well, why am I not making as much money? I have to get 8 clients a day. I have to do 8 sessions a day just to make a living. It's like, they don't understand. It's like, that's real work. A firm is the same way, Like, they expect results, and they bill. Their entire revenue is based on billing hours. So the more they work you, the more money they make. The bigger their revenue stream. And I'm not saying Disney is the same way, but it's going to be that same difference compared to being the NBA commissioner.
Yeah.
NBA commissioner, you're basically a puppet. You're
like Dana White, kind of.
Dana White actually does work because he actually moved things forward. But then he got 10% of the company. He ain't getting 10% of Disney.
Oh, yeah. Well, your CEOs get stock options, right?
Yeah, he ain't getting 10%.
Oh, yeah, not 10% of Disney, yeah.
No, he ain't getting anything. He's gonna get the maybe the Chapek package. Only because of his name recognition.
Yeah.
But I mean, he doesn't. I don't even know why Disney would want him unless they're looking for a puppet. I'm not saying he doesn't. People who become these commissioners, NFL, NBA, MLB, if you're a commissioner, you usually have a high status in business already.
Yeah. And
you go there because it's cool. It's like Condoleezza Rice, when she was in the White House, said that her dream job was to be an NFL commissioner. Why? Because it's cool.
Yeah.
You got your own box. You're sitting up there with celebrities. You and Bono are talking, and you're watching the games. And then basically, if something controversial happens, basically you come out and make a statement.
Yeah.
That's your job.
Right.
You're not calling plays on the field. No, you're not doing anything.
Budgets.
You're not doing anything. You get your grandkids to meet Tom Brady. That's what you do. That's your job. You go to Children's Hospital. You do some things. You're the person who's standing with the giant check to charities, the
Yeah.
giant like human-sized checks.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what you do. That's your
Yeah.
job. You're Monty Hall.
Yeah.
You know.
Kind of semi-retired in a way.
Yeah, it's a
But I
retirement
think
job
also
for corporos.
he's good buddies with Iger, so I think people just assumed he's
Yeah,
in the
maybe.
mix.
But I mean, yeah, I don't, and especially at his age,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna go back into the
Yeah,
Shark
he's
Tank.
probably not going to
Back into the Shark Tank? No,
Yeah.
man. He's gonna end up growing a beard like Chapek and be gone in 3 years, just like him. All right.
Okay, so on to Josh D'Amaro on Reedy Creek.
Tomorrow.
Reedy Creek is now known as the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District.
Yeah.
So I think Reedy Creek is just easier to say.
Yeah.
And Josh D'Amaro hopes that this new Central Florida Tourism Oversight Board will understand positive impact of Walt Disney World and the positive impact that Walt Disney World has on Florida, and he's ready to work together with them.
Yeah. I mean, all this is old news. I mean, it's okay. I guess we got to say it happened, but again, what he said there, I think the only thing to take away from this is that was the nicest warning I've ever heard. It's kind of like, yeah, you got.
Like, hey, new board, let's work together.
It's kind of like I hope we can work together.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope your family doesn't go missing in a swamp. No,
D'Amaro's a nice, smiling guy. He doesn't threaten.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey. It'd be a shame if something happened to your creek. Because Disney's still the number one employer in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why he's saying, I hope
if Disney decided to really, I mean, they wouldn't do this, but if Disney decided to really back their unions to where they had power in Florida, ooh. They could say, if you're going to take us down, everyone's going down with us. And we'll move to Texas.
And you all can read up on who the appointees are.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
pastors and
it's fine.
Like that.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm not even mad at it. I'm glad it's over because nothing's going to change. All the important things about, the district aren't going to change. They can still issue bonds. Disney can still do what they want. The only power, again, like I said last week, the only power they have is to get in the way of progress. Like, you can't build this because of this. That's the only real power they have.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to have to come up with a reason for that. Right now, for a lawsuit, you need two things. You need negligence and damages. I just explained this to somebody at work today. And I said, that's why if anybody ever, and if you're an employer or if you're a boss of someone, you always have to, and you have a difficult employee and you need them to be gone from the office for a day or two, or you want to do something, never take any money from them. Put them what we call on administrative leave, do whatever you need to do, make sure they get paid. Why do I say that? Somebody's like, why should I pay somebody for not working? Because if they're paid, there's no damages.
Yeah.
They can't, if you did anything wrong, they can't sue you if there's no damages. So you give somebody a few $100, $600, $1,000, they're gone for a few days, whatever, $2,000. It could save you $1 million a year from now. Trust me. A lot of people are always looking at the short term. So what D'Amaro's saying is, hey, I hope we can work together. But if you do anything that costs Disney money, now we have damages. And once we have damages, we're going to take down Florida. We're going to call it Minnie and Mickey's new runaway peninsula. Because that's what's going to happen to you. That's basically what he's saying in a very nice way.
Yeah, because tomorrow is nice.
All right.
All right. One more thing. The Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser is cutting down to 2 voyages per week, starting in October.
Yeah, we kind of figured that's going to happen. And I think they're cutting prices for the cast members.
Yep.
You can get up to 50% off. again, I think there's some missteps. I think that
Has something to do with staff. It's not the quality because they did win the T something award for outstanding achievement in brand experience.
Mhm.
So the quality is good. They won an award for it. I think it's more like the price
Mhm.
and the staffing. Right? 'Cause the staffing is like you said, they have to be in character for like
Well,
3
I mean,
whole
this
days.
is just a callback to what everything that we ranted about for like 20 minutes at the beginning of the podcast. They were catering to people who really have a lot of money. I mean, not everyone who went there has a lot of money. I shouldn't say that, but
Mhm.
the people who go there can afford to go there, spend $6,000.
Mhm.
Those people, you can't. There are not enough of those people
Yeah.
that are going to be interested in going to that hotel year round.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're going to go once,
Maybe once
twice.
in a lifetime or twice in a lifetime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if they went once a year, that's not a lot.
Yeah,
'Cause it's not
yeah.
this enough. People who have that kind of money have so many things that they can do.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people. Again, when we talk about product differentiation, I'm not going to go back into that rant, but people who can afford to pay premiums,
Mm-hmm.
you're also, of course, every company wants those people
Mhm.
as customers and
Mhm.
guests, but you're also entering into a new realm of competition. Now you're competing with yacht parties. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're competing with traveling to Europe, skiing,
Cruises. Right?
real cruises,
Real cruises
that actually are
where
on water.
It's like a quarter of the price, right? It's like $600
Even
a
though
person.
when you start wanting to cater to people with more money, you're competing with exclusive cruises.
Oh yeah.
You're not. They only look at the money and they're not looking at the new competition.
Yeah.
Anytime you go up a level, there's a new level of enemy, and that's what I don't think people think about.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, well, I don't want to sell hot dogs. I'd rather sell diamonds. Okay. But your competition for diamonds now are big dogs. Okay, people who can afford diamonds don't have to go to you. They're going to
Yeah.
they could fly to Paris to get a diamond. They can do anywhere.
Yeah. This
So-
reminds me of the Vietnamese handyman,
Mm.
right? When I told you about the Vietnamese handyman that my mom found, and he cost like $50
Yeah.
versus every other handyman pays $250, but
Yeah.
he gets more customers with the $50.
Cost leadership. He
Mhm.
understands it.
Yeah.
He's like, look, he's probably in his head. He might have even written it down. He could say, look, most handyman projects are basically things that people just don't know how to do, like
Right.
installing a thermostat. Right?
Mhm.
It looks complicated. He installed a light switch for your mom, I think. Right?
Yeah.
The average person probably should know how to do that, but they don't.
Right.
So I can do 100 of those
Right.
because that's going to be most of my calls. It's not
Yeah.
complicated. I
Yeah.
can do it in 5 minutes,
Right.
and I can knock out 100 of those for $50.
Yeah.
Or I could be
Take
like one
one
of these
client.
pick
Yeah.
one client and bang around with their air conditioner just to tell them they need to hire an electrician because I'm not certified to do
Right.
that.
Right.
So yeah, it's smart.
Yeah. Well, I'll
Work smarter, not harder.
Yep.
All right.
It's Taste Talk with Tracy. Mash some magic in your mouth.
Okay, well, we're back at the Magic Key Terrace again this week for Taste Talk. And it's the house-made churros. And it came with Irish cream, dulce la leche, and salty caramel ice cream. And they were house-made or handmade
Yeah,
or whatever.
they were really good. They're fresh out of the oven.
Yeah, and
So, or the
made
fryer,
right
or whatever.
there, the fryer.
Yeah.
And they make it there, and it does, because I did ask, I'm like, before I ordered it, I was like, because she's like, did you want some house-made churros? And I was like, hey, what's the difference between the churros and the rest of the park in the cart? She's like, well, they're house-made. That means they're handmade, and so they're fresh or whatever. So I was like, all right, let's do it. So we tasted it, and it was really good. It does taste very different.
Yeah, what are the churros that you bought?
Yeah, that's what the ones
What
Disney
store is that?
Pepe
No, the store. It's from it's the Walmart store, the
Smart and Final.
Smart and Final. Those are the
There's
Smart and Final.
Pepe, whatever.
No, but I'm saying they're Smart and Final ones.
Yeah.
And that is
The brand is called Pepe something.
whatever. It's Smart and Final.
You can get it on Amazon too.
Yeah, you can get it at Amazon.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that makes them taste worse.
Because there's places
know.
that don't have Smart and Final.
But I mean, that is a big cost thing I mean, that is kind of like an exclusive thing for a handmade churro in a park full of store-bought churros.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
For them to make like churros like right in their own kitchen
Yeah.
when you're surrounded
Yeah.
by millions of churros
Yeah.
is interesting. It's that's
Because I was skeptical. I'm like, what's the difference? Did you take the ones from downstairs and just cut them up and put ice cream on top? Like, no, they're handmade here. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, let's see. So I tasted it and it was
yeah,
good.
were, yeah.
Yeah, it was
They're
like
good.
good. Even you were eating some because you're like, I'm just gonna have a bite, but then you ate
Well,
like half.
they're really good. You could tell that they were made because they look a little different.
They look different. They're softer inside.
But they're
Crunchy.
bigger. Like
Bigger,
circumference. Yeah. So
Yeah, they were warm,
mhm.
and it went with the cold ice cream.
they're really
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Definitely, if you go to the Magic Key Terrace, try them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, save some room for dessert.
Yeah.
And then the second thing we did was get the Irish coffee. We know we usually get Irish coffee at the coffee cart. It's called the cappuccino cart near the Little Mermaid. But we didn't realize they had it here too because we saw like it was raining. So that the week we went and we saw the table next to us order it. And we're like, hey, that looks good. And they're like, yeah, it's just the Irish coffee. So we got that too because it was cold and rainy. And so it was perfect.
Yeah. It was really good. For some reason, there are different, and I don't know a lot about Irish coffee, but there are different tastes. Some are sweeter than others. Some are.
Yeah.
The one that we had in San Francisco was still the best.
Oh, because the cream is what is sweetened.
Mm.
Sweetens it. So it's just coffee and whiskey, but the cream on top, I think Disney they
But
just
what
put
was the name?
cream.
What was the name of the place we went to in
Buena
San Francisco?
Vista.
Buena Vista.
Yeah.
That's what the
Buena Vista Street's
is
named after. Yeah.
made after. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was their inspiration. And Alex, and told us that we needed to get an Irish coffee there. And that was the first time I've ever had Irish coffee.
Me too.
And I was just like,
I didn't know it was a thing.
and I was
But
like,
there is a place here in San Diego that's similar.
yeah,
Close.
but the problem is when you have the best as your first, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
now
like
I
you
judge
were-
all of
yeah.
them unfairly.
Like what we were talking about, Bronx Pizza and all that.
Yeah, it's like,
Tacos El
yeah.
Gordo and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah, that Irish coffee on Buena Vista Street was
Yeah,
great. I
it's
was just
like the
whoa,
original-
what is this?
Yeah. It's the cream that makes it sweet. So remember how he was like mixing the
Yeah.
cream by hand?
I got it on video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what Starbucks is kind of doing, except for it's not real Irish coffee, but it's
If we could find it, we should
Sweet
post
cream.
it so people know what
Yeah.
we're talking about. And it was smaller in a smaller cup, but it was good. The one that they have at Joffrey's is pretty good, but yeah, I'm always comparing it to that, and I can never like recreate that feeling.
yeah.
The only thing that recreates it is we did drink that on a rainy day too, because it was
Oh,
raining up
yeah,
in San
huh?
Francisco.
Yeah, we went to Ghirardelli. We were pretty much in DCA when we were in San Francisco.
Yeah.
We went to the Buena Vista place, and then we went to Ghirardelli.
Even when we travel, we're still at Disney. So,
Yeah.
all righty. Well, now it's time for
All right, there's an opening day for the villas at the Disneyland Hotel. It opens September 28th. Now, these are those DVC villas next to a wing
Yeah.
next to the Disneyland Hotel. So, some important dates to remember. On March 15th, DVC members can begin making reservations by calling a number. And then
That's 800-800-9800. It's very easy
Yeah.
to remember.
And then on the next day, March 16th, Magic Key holders can start booking. And it's a 714 number, 956-6425. And then the general public, March 17th on the Disneyland.com website.
And so when are the first dates? September 28th, right?
Yeah, that's when it opens.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'll look at the prices. We'll see. I mean, again,
Well, we
still
have to call and then.
no. Well, I mean,
'Cause
we know people. So
Okay. That means we just follow Gothic Rosie.
well, she ain't staying there, but she'll have the prices. Yeah.
She'll have the info though. Yeah.
Without saying any names, we know people who stay. They're DVC members. So yeah. It's interesting. I still think it's just Disney Hotel, Residence Inn, but
Yeah, it's like that because we looked at the pictures, and if you look at the pictures, it's like Residence Inn Disneyland Hotel. Is that like a kitchenette?
That doesn't mean it doesn't have its uses, though. So
it doesn't have what?
Its uses. It doesn't mean that I couldn't find something, that I would utilize for. Like if I want to have a Disney get together, I might get a room there.
Have the girls over. Me and Emmy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So maybe a birthday party or two.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll see.
Because like you said, if we're gonna pay that much for a villa,
we're
gonna stay in there. I'm not going to the parks that day.
Parks,
Mark. Just kidding. Okay. Oh, Red Panda character is coming to Shanghai Disney, and I think she's already there because I saw a picture of her walking around the park in Shanghai.
Does she grow? Do you get giant?
No, she just stays as a bear, the panda. Not Mei Mei. Red Panda. And then the famed Dole Whip is coming to a freezer section near you. They're coming to stores. I know we had a lot of like chain posts on Instagram between me and Carrie and Make It Magical and DMSW because we were making fun of Clayton from Make It Magical for hating Dole Whip. His unpopular opinion is because it turns into soup by the time he gets it. Pineapple soup. So he hates it. So we're like, hey, look, Clayton, Dole Whip is coming to your house.
Oh, yeah, because then it won't turn into soup.
Yeah, it won't turn into soup. That's what I said. I'm like, well, it's not going to turn into soup. It's going to, But yes. Well, actually, this month, the frozen yogurt place near our house has Dole Whip.
Mm-hmm.
And they even text me. They're like, why go all the way to Disneyland when you can get it here? So I was like, oh, yeah, it's down the street.
And of course, you...
Oh, no, it says, no need to travel to Hawaii or Disneyland. Come to us for the famous pineapple Dole Whip.
Yeah. Did you write him a response letter saying, this is why I go to Disneyland?
No, then I was just thinking about it. I was like, it's right down the street. But, I mean...
Yeah, Dole Whip is not as uncommon as people think. The funny thing is I just remember Alex saying, Brian, did you know about this? It's like it seems to be every day somebody's discovering it for the first time. It's funny.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, so I'm always wondering, like, why? Because it's good. So why wouldn't everyone sell it? You know what I mean? It's not like exclusively Disney,
But it seems like it is because it's such a famous
It's pineapple.
Disney.
It's pineapple sherbet,
Yeah.
It's not.
Why isn't it anywhere else?
Dude, I had lime version, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Lime whip.
In Orange County.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All sorts of flavors.
Minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just that some people just don't think it's a big seller at yogurt. I don't know. It's a mystery.
Yeah.
You might have to, maybe it's a North Colorado contract. You have to check in with them before you make it. They come and bust up your business. You can ask Caitlin.
Well, I tried to make it at home, but it did instantly turn to soup at home, too.
Yeah, there's a magic curse on it. Talk to Erin. See if you can get a contract. All right. Well, that's
all we have.
Yep. That's it for today. We will be at the parks
tomorrow.
Is it
Saturday?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yes. Oh, shoot. I have to pack.
I know. Yeah. I know. That's what I do when we do it on a Friday. It's kind of like, what? Huh? And we'll have the Grogu Wait For Me Loungefly wallet. So if you find us, if you're the first to find us, because we only got one, you'll win it. Again, check out Podcast Mics for Magic.
Yes.
Donate to Chalk. And yeah, that's it. We will see you guys next week. I'm Brian.
I'm Tracy.
Stay magical.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe and visit us at www.ropedroppingknowledge.com.